Good morning. Join us on the glorious River Wye. Lovely morning, shrouded in mist. We're bent into a lovely barbel. Haven't been here too long. Just put a bit of bait in via the feeders, and it seems like we've got a first fish of the day. Hopefully I won't lose it. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it's giving a good account of itself. Surely it's a barbel. If it's a chub, it's a big one. Hopefully, if we land this, I'll be able to show you. This should be a lovely clean barbel. Don't see a lot of pressure where we are, so they do tend to be in really good nick. This is only a splasher by the look of it, but it's a lovely fish. Certainly a nice way to start. Well, it's not a bad one, about 5–6 pounds I should imagine. Just nice though to be here, such lovely surroundings, having a nice conversation with Ty and catching a few of these. Happy days. There we are, there's no rush to get him out now. We've landed him, so we'll take the time just to rest him up in the net for 5 minutes. Just admire what we've got, let him sit there and regain some composure. And then we'll take him out and unlock him. Right, so fortunately managed to land that barbel. Lovely, lovely fish, absolutely spotless, super duper clean, no marks on it. It's probably never ever been caught from where we're fishing. Doesn't see a lot of pressure down here, if I'm honest, but there's certainly some lovely fish here. This one is average sort of stamp for the stretch, but you can expect to catch doubles down here as well. I think the biggest we had last year was a shade over 10.5 pounds. So they are here and to some pretty good sizes, but that's a lovely start. As you can see, it's a beautiful morning. Absolutely stunning up here, even with the mist, you know. But yeah, that's a prime example of a tidal Wye barbel. We're right at the upper limit of where the tide actually affects the river. But yeah, a lovely clean fish for our efforts. Happy days. So now the fishing slowed down a bit, I just thought we'd take a couple of minutes to talk you through exactly where we're fishing. We're right on the upper limit of the tidal reaches of the Wye. When you go back and look at barbel fishing in general on the Wye, there's not really a lot spoken about the tidal, to be honest, because it's not really that much known about it. Over the last couple of years, I've been trying to put the pieces together and see exactly what the river holds. It's been productive for the last couple of years. We've had fish to over double figures. The stretch we're on at the moment doesn't see any bait, doesn't see much pressure, but they soon come onto the bait. It's absolutely stunning down here, absolutely beautiful. As you can see with the backdrop we were filming in today, very, very quiet. As I said, you'll only see dog walkers, you see very few anglers down here, but it's very rare, especially on a river such as the Wye, we get to actually do a bit of exploratory fishing, and that's what the lower reaches offer you. It doesn't see hardly any pressure to the point where you've got to, I have to come down and cut my own swims out because no one else is fishing here. So it does offer you a little bit of mystery, a little bit of unknown, which is rare for the Wye. But there's not, like I said, there's not a lot being mentioned of it because not a lot is really known about it. So like I said, over the last couple of years, we've been trying to put the pieces together, and we have been catching some lovely fish. But again, it just goes to show that if you're willing to put a little bit of extra effort in and do a little bit of pioneering, there are fish there to be caught. But what we're going to try and do this year is just try and work our way down the river and see exactly how far the barbel are present. Just run you through the bait that we're using today. When we first started fishing down the lower reaches, obviously we were conscious that the barbel might not be familiar with the more modern baits that we associate with barbel fishing. So we started off using worm and maggot on one rod, and on the other then we used the Sonu products, using pellets. These are absolutely brilliant. If you drop one into a little cup, you can see exactly how much leakage is coming off them and for exactly how long. Just if you're not familiar with the product, drop one in a glass and have a look at the leakage and the flavours that absolutely fly off them. But contrary to what I believed at the beginning, I thought we catch most of our fish on naturals. But out of the two rods, we fished one with a maggot or worm approach and the other on boilie and pellet and a ground bait mix. And the boilie rod was out fishing the natural rod straight away, which it surprised me, if I'm honest. I was expecting the naturals to be more productive, but we've been catching them off on boilies from the start down here. And these are absolutely brilliant, along with the spicy sausage pellet. Got a lovely aroma to them. It's just a job of pulling the barbel into your swim. What I like to do is I'll cap my feeder with a bit of the meaty salmon, make a plug in the end, and just sandwich a liberal helping of pellet in between. Obviously cap back over the top, and depending on how quickly you want that bait to disperse, that dictates how hard you press the feeder in. I like to, obviously when I'm baiting up at the beginning, I'll pack my feeder quite loosely, so once it hits the bottom it disperses quickly. So after I've finished baiting the swim up, as I said, I'll swap feeders over. I'll use one of our low profiles. I'll absolutely compress that little package of pellet and ground bait into that feeder as hard as I can. So obviously initially after I bait it up, I want that feeder to keep the ground bait in it and just slowly leak off a little bit of attraction. I don't want it to empty super quick. I want it to be dropping off little bits of little pellets and little bits of ground bait, just to attract those barbel up into the swim. But it certainly seems to be working. It's worked this morning. It hasn't been a red letter session, but we've managed to fish, and as you can see, with the conditions are far from ideal. The river's still on its bones, if I'm honest. Obviously the temperature's dropped, it's got a lot higher levels of dissolved oxygen, so we're perfectly fine fishing from, but it's still not fishing as well as it should be. But yeah, simple stuff, again, but super effective. All right. Just thought we'd take 2 seconds to show you through this rig. It's nothing complicated, it just consists of our 15-pound coated braid. Lovely material, super supple, super strong. I stuck in a bit of a predicament this morning. I actually left my tackle box in the house, so I've had to improvise. So I found a handy use for one of our specimen snap swivels. As you can see there, I haven't got bayonets on me or anything like that, or bait screws. So simply attach one of our little snap swivels to the back of my ear, and what you'll find with these Sonu baits, these oozing pellets, they are rock hard, which allows me to impale it on like you would with a bait spike or a bait screw. Super simple way of attaching it to your hair, no faffing about. Seconds and it's done. Certainly works. We've had a fish on it this morning out of necessity more than anything else, purely because I've left my tackle box in the house. Out of all the days to do it, today had to be the day. But yeah, it certainly works. It's certainly done the job today. As I said, we're using some of our 15-pound coated braid. As you can see, it's super duper supple, absolutely lovely stuff to use, and the main point, it is super duper strong as well. Going up to the feeder and the components, we've got one of our bolt and run kits here. As you can see, when the running ring is clipped into the grommet, it creates a lovely boom, which helps with its anti-tangle properties. But yeah, super simple, but again, really effective. Nothing has to be complicated when you're fishing the river, you know, just keep it simple, but it's got to be strong. We're using some of our 12-pound barbel line, again, really abrasion resistant and ultra strong. As you can tell, we're fishing down on the lower reaches of the Wye, so we need everything to be slow. But when you're catching the fish, you're out on the run, keep the rod tip high just to try and direct them out of any snags or anything on the bottom of the river. I'm using a hook length which is actually stronger than my main line. Now you might think that's a little bit backwards, but in reality, with the amount of debris and boulders strewn across the bottom of the river, it absolutely does no harm at all using a stronger hook length than the main line. If anything, it helps you just pretty much due to his abrasion resistance. Like I said, the barbel in this river, they do tend to congregate around features, whether that be a drop off or boulders, you know. And the last thing you want is a hook length for snark to the job, because that's going to see most of the, you know, most of the fight and most of the abrasion when it goes across the river or through any rocks or any snags. So I think personally that it is really important to have a really strong hook length there. But yeah, nice and effective. Right, so decided to wrap up now. As you can see by the conditions, super duper bright. We've gone past bite time. Fortunately enough though, we've actually managed to fish for the camera, which is fantastic. I hope that you've learned something from what we've gone through and discussed today. Hopefully you would have picked up a couple of helpful hints and tips that will help you along in your own angling. And hopefully I'll see you soon.